Now, I put a video up in my story on Instagram within the last 24 hours, and I asked the question, actually it would have been about 48 hours ago now. I asked the question, what am I doing here to make this more challenging and less impressive? And I didn't quite get anybody that picked up on what I was doing there. So I'm going to show you guys what I was doing in that specific instance. All right, so like I said, yoga block underneath the head for support, another underneath the top side leg for support. You can play around with different heights or different objects. I don't really care for this specific instance. I just want this leg up supported in hip flexion. Now, to show you guys what I was doing to make this significantly more challenging and less impressive is if I just lay in this position, I've got this pelvis hiked up towards my ribs, meaning there's very little space between my pelvis and my ribs. And I know that because if I take my hand and I create a little cup like this, I put it where it's soft and gushy in my abdominal wall and I press down, I'm gonna find my ilium, okay? And if I also pull up, I'm right on my ribs. I don't have a ton of space there. So I'm pretty hiked up in terms of my pelvis on this side. And that actually makes it really easy for me to adduct my bottom hip. So if I try and lift that leg up, it looks like I've got a ton of adduction. It's really impressive. It's great for Instagram. But again, my goal is not to just look impressive. My goal is to train the things that I want to train. So what we're going to do is if I actually leave my hand on the top of that ilium or the top of my pelvis, and I actually try and depress the top side of my pelvis down on the top. So if you watch my left hand, it starts high up and now it starts to move towards my heel and I keep it there. What also happens at the same time is now I can actually slide my hand underneath my abdomen. So it's almost like I'm doing a little mini side plank, which in and of itself makes it harder because now I actually have to use my abs to support myself here. But I've also caused relative adduction of the bottom leg, meaning just by dropping that pelvis down, I've adducted my bottom hip. So I've basically used my pelvis and moved it on my femur to cause adduction. So I'm already in hip adduction, and if now I try and lift off, I can't lift off as high and I'm fighting for it way harder and I get a way better contraction in my adductors. So I first adduct via pelvis on femur, then I try to adduct via femur on pelvis, okay? That's how you guys are gonna be doing this exercise today. And then we're gonna add in some capsule cars if you have the ability to do so. If that specific instance, you just holding there already feels like a ton of work, then you're more than welcome to just start with a adduction isometric hold, and you can progress this over time by integrating in capsule cars. Now, when we do this as well, I'm going to add one more layer of work onto this. I want you to try and maintain posterior pelvic tilt the entire time that we go through this exercise, meaning I don't want your low back to slip into extension. I don't want that pelvis to dump forward. I want you to try and keep it tucked back underneath you, and I want to try and maintain a little bit of hip extension here. So follow along, top hand. You can place it on your pelvis. Let's actually even use your breath to help set this up. Give me a nice long slow inhale through your nose. As you exhale through your mouth, I want you to tuck your pelvis underneath you and then drop it down towards your heel. So make sure that your foot isn't hanging out way out in front here. Get it underneath you. Think slide it behind you. Now I want you to try and maintain that. Show me how high you can adduct that bottom leg without letting it drift forward and without losing that pelvis depression. So I do not want this pelvis to hike up towards your left shoulder. I want you to keep more space between your ribs and your pelvis on this side and try to keep that leg up as high as you can. Now, if you're good just holding here, just hold. If this already feels like a ton of work, just try to maintain it. If you feel like you can then start to add capsule cars. So let's spin our thigh inwards, toes pointed up towards the ceiling, squeeze a little bit more out, and then reverse and go the other way. Lead with the femur, not with the foot, okay? So I want this to actually be coming from your hip. Rotate in, toes pointed up, squeeze as much out of it as you can, and then rotate out. External rotation, squeeze, fight for more. Rotate in, squeeze a little bit more out, rotate out. Quick check, make sure you haven't lost that pelvis depression. Rotate in, squeeze, fight for more. Rotate out, squeeze, fight for more. One more time, rotate in, squeeze a little bit more out, and rotate out. Come back to neutral and then slowly lower down. Now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Whenever you watch one of my videos, make sure to check the description below the video because I'll always drop links to related videos, links to exercises that would go well with the one that you just finished watching, links to free mobility classes, ebooks, and to my ever-growing library of full-length training videos. Additionally, if you found this specific video helpful, please let me know by hitting the like button below, and that'll send me the message that you want to see more videos like this one. You can also subscribe to be notified when new videos like this one are available. And if there's something specific that you want to see a video on, just let me know in the comments below and we'll try and make that happen. Otherwise, take care and we'll see you in the next one.